Hi everyone, this is Ravi. Welcome to TRICENTIS Tosca automation tutorial. As you all know, I've already published around 40 YouTube videos covering beginners, intermediate and advanced level concepts. In terms of advanced level concepts, I already published 25 YouTube videos. And from previous lesson onwards, I started you teaching the multi-user workspace in the real-time projects for any given organization. This is our lesson 41 in terms of overall TRICENTIS Tosca automation concepts, and this is lesson 26 in terms of advanced level concepts. In this lesson, we are going to learn some more features that are available for multi-user workspace. I'll teach you how can we manage users and user groups within the workspace, and how can you manage the user access for your project within the workspace. Let us see the agenda items. So I'm going to teach you what are the default user groups that are available in your multi-user workspace, and how can we create new user groups, and how can we create the users within the user groups, and how can we show disabled enabled users, and how can you select the owning group for the group that you created, and how can you delete the users and user groups, and how can you provide the access to the users at project level, object level and folder level, and how can you set the passwords for the users that you have created newly, and how can you track the user activity by using create personal data report. Please do subscribe to the channel, click on bell icon. You will receive notifications whenever I publish more videos. Thank you. Now let us jump onto the TRICENTIS Tosca. So first, default user groups. First of all, to access the user groups and the user management, you need to select your project. So if you remember correctly, in our previous session, we have created a project called multi-user demo. So once you select the project, you can see user management tab here, the right side, details, test configuration, properties definition, and you have a user management tab. You need to select user management tab. And if you see here, you already have default user groups. One is admins and the second one is all users. So these are the default user groups that you can see in your workspace. Okay, so these default user groups generally contains admins user group generally have a users related to admin, and all users means whatever's the users that you add in any user group, right? So those users will be displayed under all users user group. Okay, so next one is create user groups. Apart from these default user groups, let us say I want to create a new user group. So one thing is, user group can be created based on the roles that your team is playing, or user group can be created based on the project as well. So let me create, right click. How to create a user group? You need to right click on a project, and then first you need to check out your project. Let me check out the project. As soon as you check out the project, now you will be able to edit or add all your user groups. Okay, so now right click and let me create a new user group. Create user group. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new user group called Tosca specialist. Okay, this is one user group based on the role I'm creating. And then I would like to create another user group. Right click and Tosca design specialist. Okay, so these are the two user groups that we created based on the roles. Let's say there are some organizations which follow based on the project as well. Project, I can say project XYZ or project multi-user. Okay, this is another project. So that means I created three different user groups, correct? And then how can you create the users within the user group? Let's say I have a Tosca design specialist. In my team, I have two design specialists. So what I'm going to do, right click on this and select create user. I'm going to say design. I'll do one thing. I'll just mention design specialist. One, I'm just naming the user as design specialist. One, design specialist 2. Okay. And I want to create Tosca specialists. Right click under group Tosca specialist. Specialist 01, specialist 02. Okay, this is how you can create the user. But whenever you create the user, you can either enable the user or disable the user. Let's say I want to disable design specialist 2. You just need to uncheck the box. Okay, and also you can set result allowed. That means if user can set the result manually. Generally, whenever you execute the test cases, the tasker automatically set the result as pass or fail based on the execution result, right? But however, if you want to override the test result manually, you can check the checkbox. Let's say I don't want to give any authority to set the result manually for the test design specialists because they are going to just design them. So I'm going to remove these and I want to keep the set result allowed. Manually they can set the results to pass or fail for the task or specialists. I want to keep them. And then level. So you can select the level of the access, whether they want to have basic level of access, advanced level or expert level. Based on the level, these users will be given the permissions in different module level. Okay, so you can select the levels here. Okay, and then owning group. So owning group means, let's say this Tosca specialist and Tosca design specialist. Okay, I want to select this owning group as all users owning group. This is all owners users owning group. And Tosca specialist also, I want to select this as all users owning group only. Let's say you have another, let's assume I want to create super user. Let me create another group called super users. Okay, in this I'm going to create a new user. I created super users group. Okay, users group. Here I'm going to say admin 0 super user 01. Right now I want to give them as expert, as a level. I want to enable the group, enable the user, set result as allowed. And here this entire super user group owning group is admins. That means this group can be managed by only admins. Okay, that's why I selected owning group as admins. Save this. So now you understand, right? Once you create the user groups, how you should create a users and how can you enable them, set results allowed, and how can you assign the owning group for the user group that you created. So that means we created the users, we select owning group. We also selected the owning groups, right? Now show disabled enabled users. So one more thing here, if I go to the tab view, right? Let's say I want to hide the disabled users. If you see, design specialist 2 is a disabled user. So I don't want to pay attention on this particular disabled user, right? So I can simply click on hide disabled user. So now you see disabled users are hidden, and show disabled users. This shows all disabled as well as enabled users. So generally, admin user does not want to work on disabled users unless he wants to enable, right? That's why I can hide the disabled users by selecting the option, toggle option, show disabled users, hide disabled users. So this is how you can toggle the option. And then delete users and user groups. How can you delete users? So let's say I want to delete this disabled user. You simply right click and delete the user. Okay. Or I want to delete the test design specialist user. Sorry, test design specialist group, entire group. I can simply right click and click on delete. This will delete your entire group. But whenever I delete the entire group, but the users under design specialist are still not yet deleted, right? You can see I deleted the group, but I can see those users in all users. That means if you delete the group, the users under that group will not be deleted. If you want to delete the users under that group, you have to come to all users, right click and delete, or you can disable them simply. You can simply disable them. You can simply disable them. This way, you can, these users no longer can access this workspace repository. Okay, so that is done. And next one, user access at project, object, and folder level. Now, let's say now we have a total specialist level, specialist 01, specialist 02, super user 01, right? These are all the enabled users. Now I want to provide access to these users for my project. How can I do that? So let's say I want to go to test case section, and you need to expand this properties section. So if you see here, let's say this particular test case section can be viewed by which users. I can provide here viewing group name. So let me first of all check out this. Let me check out this entire tree, right? Now here I want to give view access to all users. Simply select all users group. I'm selecting all users group. If you remember correctly, this all user group you already have, right? One default all user group, right? So I am providing access to everyone to view this section. What about the owning group who can edit this test case section? I want to provide the owning group as Tosca specialist group. Tosca specialist. That means the users who are in Tosca specialist group can work on this particular test case section. Okay, so this is way I can enable access for each and every user group. Okay, let's assume for execution, right? For the execution, or sorry, not for the execution, let us assume for modules. Even for modules, right click and check out. For these modules as well, I can give viewing group permission to all users, but owning group who can edit, add the objects to the modules are Tosca specialist. Okay, And then configuration. For example, I want to give access to these configurations. So these configurations where I can add text agents, I can configure the agents, right? I can configure the database. I want to give view permission to everyone, all users, but this owning group. So who can edit, who can add agents and manage agents are only admin, that is super users. I want to select super users as owning group name. That means the users who are under super users group can only edit, add the details under configurations. Okay, that is done. So this is how you can manage access at folder level, object level. So if you want to give only to particular object like test case one, you can provide that way also. So whatever the level you want to provide, you can folder level you can provide, entire project level you can provide the access, right? Whatever the component level you want, you can provide the access at component level. And then set password for users. Let's go back to again project, go to user management. Now, if I want to set the password for specialist 01, this is the user. And I can set the password for this user, right click and click on set password. Let's say I can just set the password and click on OK, and again confirm, click on OK. So now whenever this specialist 01 user logs into this workspace, he has to use the password that I set up. That means admin generally sets the password for every user. Okay, admin user set the password and that password will be given to the particular team member called specialist 01 so that he can log into the password. And you can also remove or modify the password, or you can remove the password also by using set password. Okay, and then the next one is track user activity. Let's say I want to track the user activity of specialist 02. How can I do that? Right click and then click on create personal data report. As soon as I click on create personal data report, it creates an Excel sheet. Okay, here. So this is a specialist 01 user data report. Probably this will have a empty rows because we haven't done, this user did not log into the workspace and he haven't done any activities. Let's go back here. I want to generate the user activity create personal data report for admin. Let's do this now. Right click and create personal data report. This will export your Excel sheet to this particular folder. See now. So this is my personal data report for the admin. Now this will have all the activities that admin has performed. So let's see here now. Okay, let's analyze this. What do you have? So this user accessed this machine and this workspace, and this is the user ID and this is the username and what is the revision of this particular object, right? And then what is the date that he modified and what is the object he modified, what is the object ID and what is the revision, 15th revision, 17th revision, right? So you can access personal data report for every user so that you can track the activity of that particular user in this particular workspace or the repository. Okay, so these are all the activities that you can perform. So this is how you can manage the users, you can manage the user groups, you can manage the access levels for the group, for the users that you created. Okay, hope you all understand the concepts of managing the users, managing the user groups at project level, folder level, at any component level that you want. So if you have any queries, leave your queries in the comment box. I'll try to respond to your queries. Thank you. Hope you all understand the concepts of managing users and user groups in multi-user workspace. So you have learned how can you create different users, and then how can you create different user groups, and then how can you provide access for different users and different user groups at project level, at object level, and at entire folder level. Please do subscribe to the channel, click on bell icon, you'll receive notifications whenever I publish more videos. Thank you.